Where are you today?
Oh, San Fran today.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of what we're calling video GAAme Chat. I know. We'll work on it. It's fine. We'll work on it. Here today with me is Dermot Malone of Monaghan fame. We're just going to be chatting a bit about the current Gaelic situation and also then go into his history in video games and also some stuff that might relate into All Star Gaelic Football. So, a few interesting things to come up here. Good wee chat with Dermot here we had. So, without further ado, let's have a look. Thanks, Dermot, for coming to the inaugural version of what we're provisionally calling video GAAme Chat. Going to workshop that a bit. It's probably not the best, but we have to work in. It's sketchy. I'll put a jingle around it. It'll be fine.
I'll take it.
No, so thanks for coming. I suppose, how have you been getting on in the whole COVID situation?
Yeah, getting on grand. Started off dodgy enough working from home, but getting used to it now, and obviously being a gamer as well does no harm whenever you're working from home. We were built for this sort of scenario, so if you need to kill time, don't worry. It's not a problem for me, luckily enough.
No, it's I haven't been in the office in 6 months, so it's been handy enough.
But we're the same.
How's it been for the football season for you? How have you found the extra concentration on the club season?
It's been brilliant, and like the new format they have in at the minute now, the club season's been absolutely fantastic, and I really hope they can do something like that going forward. Now they will have to obviously change probably the format and the schedule for the county season, but yeah, no, it's actually been great getting home. There's a lot of emphasis in the club season at the minute. There's a lot of coverage on it, and I think it's starting to open a lot of people's eyes as to how good and how competitive it actually is. And yeah, I think hopefully it'll change something for next year now, because if they can get the right structure, the right format in place, it's going to be a lot more enjoyable for players, supporters, you name it. So touch wood, it could be a blessing in disguise for us going forward. Like.
No, I'll be honest, seeing all of the club matches on TV has been great. Just sitting down. Well, it's been great having any Gaelic football to watch. But it's certainly been great to see the club football, and people underestimate the quality that is in club football.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's great to actually get to witness some of the players that you probably never see. Especially outside your own county. And it's good to see that they're actually starting to think about, maybe club football should be promoted more, should be made, pushed up the ranks towards where the county level is, like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a win-win all round, because we all have players with our club that can't play county football but don't for whatever reason or not, and that's great sometimes to get a bit of exposure for some of them, and deservedly so. And
how was your season with Blaney? I seen you were in the relegation playoff there.
Aye, it was terrible. Although I'm talking about how great a format it was in Everton, we were in a relegation battle last weekend, and it was as scrappy a match as you're going to get. And luckily enough, we come out the right side of it. So we live today, another day.
Yeah, you came out all right. I think at half time, was it all square? Were you starting to panic there?
Half time we were a pint down, yeah. And
pint down.
It was starting to get squeaky bum time nearly, as Alex Ferguson said. But luckily enough, we chipped away a few pints in the second half and just kept our head above water. And yeah, as I said, we live today, another day.
You chipped in a few yourself in the second half. I think there was a few outs, maybe not just from yourself in the first half, that maybe sort of kept it a bit tighter.
Unfortunately, our local Twitter man wasn't doing me any favours. It was 3 wides in a row for myself, and he put it up, and then I think he tried to redeem himself in the second half. He might have given me 1 or 2 that I didn't score, but
all right. Well, it looked like you got your fair share of points to get you over the line anyway. So
we did in the end. Yeah,
you'll fight another day in the championship next year then.
Yeah, we're just happy enough. We got the result nearly, and yeah, we're just happy enough to get it out of the way, to be honest. A sense of relief.
And what about the inter-county season? Do you think it's going to go ahead?
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. It's probably talking like as bluntly as it comes. They say that the rumour it's worth 20 million in TV rights. So like that's going to play a big part of it, to be honest. And do I personally want to see it go ahead? Actually, I don't really. I'd be happy enough to see them park it to one side. just for the year that's in it, because I don't know what happens then next year. Where do you start, or where are you starting off? Because if you have a half decent run this year at all in the county season, you don't finish. As soon as you're knocked out of the championship, a week later you're going to be training, and yeah, I just don't know how beneficial it's going to be. But time will tell. At the minute, it seems to be going ahead, and I think same as everyone. There's a lot of mixed emotions. Some people want to see it, some people don't. But ultimately, if it's going to go ahead, I'd imagine every player is still going to be given 100%. And
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. Now, like there certainly is a split camp there. Even in Tyrone, they were coming out. I think it was Matty Donnelly and Darren McCurry. Matty was saying they should go ahead, and Darren was saying they shouldn't go ahead. And even in the same camp, you're sort of having the disagreements about it. And you can see both sides. You can say it would be good to see, but from a player's perspective, you don't want to drain yourselves coming into a new season as well.
It's just maybe born on the candle at both ends is maybe the term someone said. Yeah. But you can see both. I'd say it's the same across most teams. Some people mad to play, some people not so much, and it's all TBC, I suppose.
We'll know in time, because it's meant to be starting fairly soon, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the story is with the provisional schedule, and we're told the championship's the middle of October, but there may be league games played, but that hasn't been confirmed. So the club students are going to.
As an Armagh man, I'm all right with the league not play. I think we're up at the top there, and just call it today, and we'll go up into Division 1 next year. Fine.
Yeah, you get away all right. I think someone might have mentioned it's something to do with the seeding. It might affect because they changed the championship format, so they need to figure out something. But yeah, God only knows.
I know. We'll play it by ear and see how it goes.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Ed. We'll move into just chatting about your gaming history.
No bother.
So, what's the first game you remember playing growing up?
Sega Mega Drive was the first game I ever had, and there was I remember 6 games in one. Don't know if you remember that. You get a wee cartridge and you plug it in. There was 6 games all in one, and Sonic the Hedgehog and Streets of Rage, first games I ever played. I still remember the soundtrack. I had it downloaded on my phone recently enough. Brings back a lot of memories.
Absolute classics. I was a Super Nintendo man at the time, so I never really got to
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart, Mario, all of the classics. So there was always the 2 camps. I was in the Super Nintendo camp, and then there was the Mega Drive camp with all my friends. But we always came together and played each other's different games as well.
Same as that.
So Mega Drive was the first thing that you owned, first console?
Yeah, first Sega Mega Drive, black Sega Mega Drive, first console I owned, and I remember Micro Machines then come out, and you could plug them. You could plug Micro Machines in and then plug 2 controllers into the actual game.
You could play 4-player then, yeah.
And we had 4-player, and that was the real memory kicking off in the house, sitting in a wee small television. 4 was going absolutely buck mad at it. Yeah, good times back in the day.
I remember it well. And what was your perception of consoles then as you grew up?
Yeah, Sega Mega Drive, I think it was PlayStation 1. And then it just PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. There might have been a GameCube stuck in there in the middle of it also, a Nintendo GameCube. Stuck to PlayStation the whole way through. I don't think I moved off. I didn't go to PC or didn't go to Xbox or anything like that there. I stuck with PlayStation, and all my mates were on it. And I remember playing World Wrestling Federation on PlayStation 1, SmackDown. WWE, it was the main one, create your own character. And then, just progressed after it. FIFA started coming out and all the sport games and the Call of Duties, and then online gaming took over. And that really was, I remember I doing my cruise ship one year, 2000 and I think it's 2009 or something, 2010, doing my cruise ship, and a mixture of doing my cruise ship and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 being out, and I never left the house for months on end.
Loads of time for it, it's the best way to pass it.
Absolutely, yeah. I couldn't speak higher of it. And, oddly enough, is something that it's actually now very, very social, all this online gaming, because even during lockdown, I'm speaking to boys that I wouldn't speak to on a day-to-day basis, and you're speaking to them very regularly there. A lot of the boys in the Monaghan team and that there. And it's actually, oddly enough, very sociable.
It does. It keeps you, especially in the lockdown periods, it gives you an excuse to get talking to people and get chatting away. Whereas you're not going. It's easier to do that than to pick up the phone and have a chat. I'm not a phone person. I can't be bothered talking to people on the phone. So if I'm
Absolutely.
chatting away, playing a game, that makes it all the better. So does keep
Yeah,
it
yeah.
social.
It
But
was. It was
we all
absolutely
get
brilliant.
the gamers all get the stigma of being antisocial and just locked away, and it may be true, but you're still chatting away to your friends and
Yeah,
having a bit of
it is
crack.
now.
So
Yeah, the fact with online gaming in particular, I'd say it's so much more social than people say. And when you say that to people, they look at you and they laugh, and they're probably right to because of that perception originally. But
yeah,
yeah, it's definitely one big benefit that's come out of it now, I must say.
no, certainly in this day and age. But so you were saying you've kept the PlayStation up until now, so you have PlayStation 4 at the minute.
PlayStation 4, a new 65 or 55-inch television bought over lockdown, and yeah, I treated myself and I wasn't spending money on anything else, and yeah, propped up at the PS4 now at the minute.
Are you looking at the PS5 coming out?
Absolutely, I'm dropping some not so subtle hints to ourselves now at Christmas to see if I can badger her into buying me it. But yeah, I'll be definitely getting it at some stage now.
I know there was a leak came out last night for the Xbox where the Series S, which is the sort of lower grade spec one, is coming out at $300, and the Series X, which is their top spec one, is coming out at 500, 499. So I think it's PlayStation's move now to see if they can undercut that or how they're going to play that.
Yeah,
A
just
lot of
before the
the lot of
Christmas period.
thought, yeah, a lot of thought is going to be it's going to be 499, and in November. So it'll be
Yeah,
we'll no doubt find out about that in the next few days.
yeah, the prices definitely have been on a steady increase now this last while. But in saying that, when you look at the value you actually get for spending money on it, it's the same with a mobile phone. Uh, so great investments.
Mobile phones, like people say, oh, it's so expensive to get consoles and all this here, and you're say that $499 works out as about £499 or euros. Uh, you're paying more than double that for a top of the range phone, and
Yeah,
so people are quick to judge when they're sitting with something worth €1,200, £1,200 in their hand.
yeah,
It's crazy for what you get in that box,
and absolutely value for money and everything else on top of that, and the entertainment you get. Don't worry. I find lots of ways to justify my gaming spend. There's a gaming chair I'm talking about, and Amazon's giving me pop-up ads now for home cinema screens and projectors, and
I know.
I'll find a way to justify it yet. So I will.
I know. I'm in the same boat, trying to convince the wife that this is needed. This is required.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now with 2 kids, I'm trying to push them to. I'll maybe get there. So here, mommy. I think we need to get the new Xbox. But
Yeah, good shout.
so what games are you playing on the PS4 at the minute? And the
PS4.
FIFAs and
Yeah, well, I suppose back maybe 18 months ago, 2 years ago, it was all Fortnite. I had played a bit of everything. I would have played a lot of FIFA, and then Fortnite came and it took over completely for a full 2 years. All of us playing it 24/7. Then at the minute, Warzone, probably the battle royale game. It's probably taken over the most, and FIFA would take precedent now if you're going over to a mate's house and you're going 1v1. But when I'm sitting now, I suppose in the solo player at the minute, for now, at the minute it's Warzone and a small bit of FIFA. Is my 2 go-tos.
I know. I never got. Well, I played a bit of Warzone. I played barely any Fortnite because I got into Apex. That was my battle royale game to go to. And also, I'm not a FIFA player. I'm a Pro Evo player. So
the enemy.
It's have been for years, and now they're not releasing one this year. They're releasing sort of an update pack. I know that FIFA are still going with the mainline game, but Pro Evo's just releasing an update pack. So
the FIFA Ultimate Team seems to be taking over. I've never got into it.
No,
and I'm sort of thanking my lucky stars that I haven't got into it, because there's in-game purchases and in-app purchases, and you can just get carried away. But
that was that sort of game style on the Pro Evo was basically all I ever played in the past number of years.
Right.
So I enjoy that there, but I've never spent a penny on it. So I don't know. I don't think Konami making Pro Evo are as guilty of gouging the price, getting the money out of you, as EA would be with FIFA. So
yeah. Good shout.
No, but it's something that we've been looking at for our game as well. That Ultimate Team sort of
Yeah.
idea. Now
FIFA
we'd have
probably
to.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, the FIFA model is probably where you want to go if you want to make some money. But there's a lot of other side things with the GAA, especially around gambling and stuff, that we need to come to some sort of balance. If we are going to do that, it might be the first iteration or the second iteration of the game. But if we are looking to do that, we'll probably have to take into account a lot more than what EA do with football.
I got you.
Because obviously there's a big anti-gambling stance from the GAA, and that's fair enough. There's a lot of problems with it at the minute, and these here loot boxes and packs that you're buying are seen in some circles as being analogous to that there. So we'll have to sort of dodge them fences whenever we come to it.
Yeah, find some middle ground. I played, funny that you mentioned it, I played a lot of NBA maybe as well for a brief stint. Don't know if you ever played it. Great, fantastic game. Play a 1v1 against your mates. It's fantastic also now.
They do something similar as well. They'd have
all the same model.
And that's how you make the money. They're saying that FIFA made just as much money off the Ultimate Team as they did off actually selling the game. So that's where you're looking at. Sure. So it depends on whether we want to go down the making money route or just making a good game route.
Well, it's tough because I know at the minute that I'm just looking at the last two games that I would have played, and I know all my friends would have played the most. Fortnite and Warzone, they're free to download, but I know they've all spent money in the games, both of them. So it's a catch-22. Would they've got as much downloads if it was free? Maybe not. It's a tricky one to call, and I'd love to know what's the answer now.
No, we'll come up with something.
I'm sure we'll find some form of way. But there's a good audience there for the GAA game anyway, because I remember having the last GAA game back in the day as well, and I think it sold out. Everyone wanted it.
Yeah.
And,
now the way I always talked about it was so there was two. There was the first one was released in 2005, then a sequel was released in 2007, and the 2005 one just sold like gangbusters. Just you couldn't get it anywhere. It sold out. It was top of the charts in Ireland, all over Christmas. So it was beating out FIFA. It was beating out all them games. You just couldn't buy it anywhere. Then people realised it wasn't that great.
The gameplay, wasn't it?
And then the second one, which was better gameplay, but not a huge amount. It was better, but it didn't sell very well at all, simply because people were burnt too much with the first one. They may well have sold a load, but then it meant that they weren't selling more of the subsequent games.
Yeah, it hindered them. Gotcha.
Yeah, so we're taking a lot of learnings from that game and what we can do different, what we can do hopefully better. But it's been 13 years now since that last one came out, so I hope that it's going to be easier to make it better with the 13 years in between.
Technology's bound to come on a bit as well from then, so it might make it a bit easier for you.
So going on to the actual Gaelic football game then. So just had a few questions around how you would rate yourself, how you would rate other players, just to throw some people under the bus.
Absolutely. If I'm doing the creator mode, I'm 99 for everything. So kicking, shooting, you name it. I put me up for 99 for everything. But yeah, I have a couple of guys in the team there. If you have a couple of attributes you want to throw out.
Well, for yourself, you're saying 99 for everything. But if you only had to choose three, what would be your three things?
That's a good one. Breaking ball, which mightn't even be one. Would probably be one.
We'll take note of that there.
Breaking ball, kick passing, and probably tackling.
Right. Now that's when you say that there, it's strange to see when you're playing corner forward in the club game, and then cornerback in the county.
You'll be all over the shop now. Primarily, it's a half forward is probably the place that me personally where I play the most. But horses, of course, sometimes I would have lined out a lot of places with the club and with the county all over the shop. But if I was probably say where I'd be the most useful consistently, it'd probably be in the half forward line somewhere. But yeah, if you're looking at the club season the whole time, I play inside most of the time for them, and I might say my attributes to the club would have been more shooting, ball winning, and score taking and free taking up there. But probably the overall picture in the last 10 years or so. I'd say that'd be the even spread there.
Well, I was actually reading something interesting last night about FIFA and how they do their stats, and it was around Thomas Muller for Bayern Munich. Now they got all the ratings. Like they have like 9,000 people that come together and make all the ratings for the different players. And when they collated all the ratings for Thomas Muller, he turned out to be really crap. Whereas Thomas Muller is seen as one of the best players in the world at the moment, but he's not really good at anything apart from like positioning. Right. So they had to boost up his ratings to make him better because he's not really that good at shooting. He's not really good at dribbling. He's not really good at passing. He's not really good at these things, but he somehow ends up with a load of goals, a load of assists, all these different things. Like, so if you're a jack of all trades, maybe it doesn't work out in a game sort of scenario. So we need to work out how to boost people up who are pretty good at everything, but not really good at anything,
Well, if you want to start comparing me to Thomas Muller, I'll not fall out with you over that one. If you're giving me the same ratings as himself, but unfortunately, Thomas, now when I'm lining out for these games, usually pace and power usually lead the way with my team selection, so I could end up dropping myself here, depending on how it goes. Sorry, I'm just moving rooms here.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that now. Yeah.
So, and how do you think the fellas would react to like being rated in the game? Given
they'd absolutely love it. I'm sure there'll be a couple of bit of banter and a bit of slagging easily, and we'll not be afraid to throw each other on the bus and a couple of comparisons. But I'm sure the fact that you're actually being on a video game would outweigh maybe being on it and having a bad rating as such, maybe.
No, that's it. Like it's hard to judge, especially with amateur players and all. You go, how can like you'd have to have a lower end benchmark where you can't really go beyond that there, because it's hard with amateur players especially. You don't want to demoralize people, but how do you get that to work out so that it's seen on the field that yes, obviously they may not be as good, but you don't want to necessarily say you're terrible.
Yeah, how many attributes do you think are going to actually use? Like I know on FIFA, these 6 main ones. Is it strength, power, pace, skill?
So the six main ones, as you say, passing the things in there and whatever for FIFA. But like that's only for them just to show outwardly, okay, this is what these people are good at. But all the other attributes will work in behind the scenes. So I think I've got a list of ones here. Let's see what I've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 26, 20. I'd say we'll probably end up with about 30 attributes.
All right, then. Yeah,
overall,
even spread then.
And we've got a lot of the AI routines sort of draft written at the minute, where it'll take into account each of the different attributes and how people will play and how it'll work out. So hopefully it'll be good. It's all sort of up in the air at the minute, but every attribute that you have there has to have a reason to be there. If it's not going to make a difference in the gameplay or how you play, it's there's no point in it. We'll just chuck it
there for the sake of it.
Yeah.
So, and rightly so.
What about your teammates then? Who would you say, and this is for Blaney or Monaghan, who would you say is the best long ball kicker?
Long ball kicker, Kieran Duffy, oddly enough, our full-back. He'd be one of the most underrated kick passers of the ball in the province. With Kieran Duffy, definitely.
Right.
With Monaghan now. I would have seen him throughout the years and grown up with him since I was 17 or 18.
That's it's not. That's the thing when you're talking to people who don't see everybody week in, week out, and you hear something like that. There, it might shock me, but it probably doesn't shock all the rest of the team that know him and do play him. That's who you choose as a good kick passer.
Yeah, I just know from the consistency of Kieran finding his man, and being able to kick such long kick passes. Yeah, like some people might see a big dramatic outside of the boot one. But someone might think, oh, he's a deadly kick passer, but he kicks maybe 3 or 4 away. And also he's a couple of nicknames there. I wouldn't be afraid to call Kieran. He's known as the pain train. So if you're adding nicknames to the game, don't be afraid to throw in Pain Train. He'll
No,
enjoy.
here we'll throw. We can throw something like that in. Like,
Somebody.
there's certainly a lot of people that we chat to around the country that there's some strange nicknames, and it could be interesting just to throw it in there. You know, maybe even have for the likes of Kieran, you could have him. You know, 99% of the time it'll just say Kieran Duffy, and then every now and again let's throw in and the Pain Train has the ball.
So, yeah. If you get the commentator to do it, don't worry. I'm sure there's any amount of men who'll be able to give you nicknames and co-players. But yeah, that'd be a great feature now. And I know somebody recently enough. I don't know someone set up a Twitter page recently enough for Kieran Duffy and called themselves the Pain Train. And you know, the investigation's still ongoing as to who it was, but I know Kieran's still out hunting for them
and it's stuck with him.
Yeah, the accused is still at large, so I don't know where Kieran will have to get him from.
I'm sure they'll stay quiet for the time being. What about point taking? If I was to take a guess who you would pick, there would be an obvious one. What about the
probably is? Yeah, it'd be the obvious one. The two best point takers would have to be Conor McManus and probably Jack McCarron.
Yes.
To just so consistent, extreme consistency with putting the ball over the bar. And, you know, maybe previously Paul Finlay would have retired there recently, it wouldn't have been far behind. But
yeah,
the percentages those guys are hitting from the shots, from playing, from dead balls is, it's well above and beyond. Like,
certainly it'd be two of the ones that I'd be choosing out of the current Monaghan setup anyway.
Yeah, easy on that one.
What about place kicking? Again, there's another obvious one here, but maybe you've got another option.
Yeah, well, I'd still say the percentages, you're looking at the two buys again, wouldn't be far away. You'd have Began maybe for the longer range ones, obviously. Out the field, like, obviously his kicking distance is 30 metres longer than anyone.
Incredible.
Rory wouldn't be far behind them now with the longer range ones, but still in saying that, McCarron and McManus again.
You wouldn't put yourself in that list now?
No, I wouldn't be at their level. There's no point in me saying, yeah, if there's a tier below it, you can try and squeeze me in there. But no, I'm not going to put myself in with those guys. They're definitely 10 out of 10, like in the country. There's not anybody I don't think that's going to.
What about in speed? Who's the fastest player?
Good question. It could be a few. Probably Carl O'Connell.
Right.
Would have been a sprinter back in his day. And Stephen O'Hanlon. Do you know Stephen O'Hanlon, fella from Carrick?
Can't say.
He would have been in and out of the Monaghan panel just recently, and he's only relatively in. But two of those guys would have done athletics back in the day. And I'd say for the top speed, Carl O'Connell and Stephen O'Hanlon would be your two go-to men.
Fair enough.
Looking at Castleblaney, it'd be a young cub called Josh Walsh. He was in the Monaghan under 21s, and he's coming through with us, but he wouldn't be far away from hitting the top speed with us.
No, good stuff. What about jumping? Now, not necessarily catching, but who can leap the highest?
Again, it would probably have a direct correlation with speed, and I'd have to say, from doing the box jump with him, Carl O'Connell.
Right.
And I'm wary. I don't want to give Carlo too many high ratings here because I need to be beating him in some things there. Like, but box jump straight up with Carlo. I've done a couple of box jumps with him now, and let's just say I have a couple of scraped knees and cut knees from it on wooden box. I wouldn't recommend doing a wooden box jump competition with Carlo now.
Too competitive.
That's it, and too strong to know when I'm beat.
And what about catching then? Who can take a catch?
Yeah, two easy ones again. I'll be looking at Kieran Hughes would be a brilliant fielder with the ball, and a fella called Mark Trainer.
Right.
Who'd be a player on my club, and Mark would be easily one of the best footballers. One of the best footballers I've ever played with. Just doesn't want to give probably the time, or can't give the time commitment to the county football, and that's why we get the recognition. But by a country distance, Kieran Hughes and Mark Trainer, two best fielders.
I think every club has someone like that. You know, I know certainly in my club, there's one fella who's playing into his late 30s now, and he's never got a sniff of the Armagh panel, but he's certainly one of the best midfielders I've seen coming out of Armagh in a long time. So there's always going to be someone at every club where you'll think, well, how did they not make it?
Yeah, and even watching a couple of the Tyrone games the other weekend, you see a couple of players, and you're like, I don't recognise them, but they're fucking great footballers, like.
I think your boy Donaghy, who's forward for Dungannon, I think he's got a good shot to getting into that into that team very soon.
Yeah.
What about the final one I've got for you then is Power. Who's the strongest player that you've played with?
Power is a good one because there's a lot of different ways about it. Darren Hughes probably for power, strength wouldn't be far away, and I'm gonna have to give myself one of these, and I'm gonna throw myself in with him, even though I may not be myself and Darren Hughes, because I need to get myself one score here, and the attributes you're throwing out aren't great for me. So I'm gonna give Darren, and I might throw myself in there, even though there could be a award for maybe Fitting Kelly.
Right, yeah.
Fitting to be also known as the Fridge.
The Fridge. I know. I play American football, or did play American football. Just quit this year, and I played and was known as the Fridge just for
deadly.
just because I'm a big boy. And it's I don't even know whether it was my actual strength. It was just I'm just a big guy. Like
a Fridge, yeah. Finty and Darren Hughes would be here too, and if I'm trying to squeeze myself into one of those attributes, I'll say that's the closest one I might get to. So, Finty and Darren.
And yourself.
Yeah, and myself. Yeah, I'll throw me in there. Give me one of them.
Right. We'll finish off with a couple of quick ones. I think maybe quick.
Yeah. No, I've time there. Yep, fire away.
Yeah. All right. So if we did have, say, an ultimate team or a transfer mode in the game, who would you want to sign? One for your club and two for your county.
Dermot Conley is probably one of the best players that I've played against, and I've just what he can do with the ball now. There's not many, so I'd definitely be thinking of getting Dermot Conley. If I was looking at past players, maybe to get into the club, it's another easy one. Probably the Gooch Cooper. I've played against him also, and he's just different gravy when he gets going. Like, and so Dermot Conley and the Gooch. I'm being very forward heavy here, but those two guys, like, I think one of their main defining attributes is their skill levels of both of them, what they're doing with the ball, right foot, left foot, side steps. I definitely have a lot of admiration watching those two guys play football through the years.
And Gooch, obviously a legend. Was there any other legends that you'd want to bring in?
Old school legend in my own club and a Monaghan legend, Nudie Hughes.
I've seen there's a charity drive going on.
I was out playing in it there 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Nudie was going about, and he has a tough battle at the minute, but he's held up in such high regard. Like, there's people coming from all over the country to play in this classic, and in their club, Nudie is God, and by all accounts, rightly so.
Yeah.
Like, he was phenomenal, and anyone you speak to that generation and genre, your parents, and I would have seen very little of him live, but they're just in absolute admiration of him, and I know he's not afraid to give McManus the touch about these 2 All Stars are coming back, and there's a bit of competition still left in him yet, and he's a fairly good golfer. But yeah, if I was going back to the vintage, I'd probably bring back Nudie Hughes now, if anybody.
The competition doesn't leave you, like you're still fighting.
It doesn't leave you. Nudie wouldn't be afraid. He still has a swagger about him. You even see him on the golf course when he hits a good shot, the shoulders are back and he's strutting it out. So if arrogance is an attribute you're looking for, you could throw Nudie in there.
Here it might be. That might be an idea. I can think about how that might work into the game. And what about if there's any moment, even in your history in Gaelic football, or any moment in past history that you'd want to recreate in the game? So.
Yeah, I thought about that, and I was thinking, I'm not sure. There isn't anything that really actually jumps out to mind that I would say, I'd love to see that again, or I need to see that again. Like the All Ireland finals, watching them all, they're all brilliant. I'm trying to think off the top of my head which one I remember. Like I remember Monaghan actually, and this is probably one of my earliest memories, watching Monaghan play in the 2005 league final against Meath, Division 3, up in Croke Park, and they were getting beat by 2 points, and they had 45 the last kick of the game, and Paul Finlay kicked it in, and Monaghan hadn't won anything for years, and would have been playing in Division 4, would have been
Yeah.
bottom of the pile ever since I started following them. And I remember they scored a goal in the last kick of the game in 45. The Meath man unfortunately had it slip through his hands. Monaghan won by a pint. And I remember running onto the pitch with the old man and the security man getting in his way, and the security man ended up on his backside, and everyone was just flooding into the field. And yeah, that was a good early memory now back in the day. I think the Banty was actually over Monaghan at that time too.
You got to celebrate moments like that, you know. It's strange now when you can't get on the field at the end of Croke Park and all. It's just it's good. I know, I understand the health and safety concern and all, but for the fans, it means everything.
And the players as well. Like, even when if you're celebrating there, you want the fans in the field. Like, you don't want to be sitting. You're going to meet the players only eventually, but I remember we won 1 or 2 of the fucking Ulsters back in the day, and the fans were all in the field, and that's what made it. Like, you're sitting meeting people in the crowd, and it's. I definitely think it's good. I can understand why obviously they did it, but I definitely be all for letting the fans on the field after a game. Like.
What about, is there something that you'd like to play an all match to rectify the result? I'm thinking maybe some of your All Ireland semi-finals.
Yeah, All Ireland semi-final. That was so they let go. Now I think it only ended up maybe a pint in at a time or 2 pints in it, and a cagey affair, and we just couldn't get going. And I know it was so close and so close. It would have been nice to get into an All-Ireland final, and although you're probably playing against the best team ever, you never know on any given day what could happen or where you could get, and with any luck we'd get back there again, but touch wood, it'll happen sooner rather than later. But yeah, the All-Ireland semi-final now, recently enough, 2018 it could have been. Yeah. More than one. If we could redo it, I'd like to redo it again.
No, it's certainly, it's hard to look back over them ones.
It is, yeah. Bitter pill to swallow. And also another one, I remember playing Kerry, watching Monaghan play Kerry in 2007, and Kerry they went on to win the All Ireland that year, but Monaghan had them on the ropes in Croke Park. My clubmate Kieran Hannity was playing. He might have won a penalty and kicked 3 pints from play, and he was on fire, and Tommy Freeman was on fire, and they had Kerry beat, and they just got a goal. Declan O'Sullivan, there was a big high ball coming into the square, and I think Donaghy knocked it out of Declan O'Sullivan. He passed it into the net, and they ended up losing me a pint, and then Kerry went on to win it. And yeah, that year again, don't know how far. You never know how far they could have went, because they were going 100 mile an hour, and Monaghan had a couple of fantastic players, Rory Woods and Dermot McCardle and Gary McQuaid and Damien Freeman, and a lot of fantastic players that didn't eventually reap reward of any Ulster medal or any real league titles, and it would have been nice to see them go home with a bit of silverware. Like,
well, you never know. You can build up the current squad, the current setup, and do you think you'll have a shot in the next coming years? You see who's coming through?
Maybe. We'd like to think our consistency of being in Division 1 at the minute should stand us in good stead. We've been there now for 6 or 7 years, so you're obviously not a million miles off the pace. And again, I think they're talking about restructuring the format, so it might be a bit of a more level playing field, because I think at the minute it may not be sort of an easy level playing field championship football, just with Ulster and how competitive.
Certainly for Ulster. And now Connacht, they're getting a bit more competitive. There's a few teams there that are hitting each other hard, like so. But Ulster is different gravy compared to the rest, like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a minefield, and we've been caught by the mines plenty of times. But you look at you can almost look at the championship before you start, and you've got Kerry and Dublin already cemented into an Ireland quarter final, and they don't have to play Cavan or Armagh or Tyrone or Donegal, and all these teams that are going to be in your way that could beat you on any given day. It's brilliant. I do love it, but I definitely think if they can restructure it, maybe to level the playing field initially at the start, that would benefit everybody.
Yeah, I know that the conversation has went that way, and there's the talk of getting rid of the provincials. As an Ulster man, I'd hate to see that. I can understand the case for the other provinces, but the Ulster Championship means a lot to a lot of us up here.
Yeah, and definitely to change the format of the championship, they're going to have to sacrifice some competitions. I think everyone's probably in agreement that possibly the McKenna Cup can be parked to one side. And you're going to probably have to sacrifice the provincials or the league. And although and I love the actual league competition, I still think the provincial championship will held up in more high regard. So unfortunately, I'd have to say you may have to sacrifice the league and just do a provincial and maybe then the championship in the Champions League format and do it seeding. But don't get me wrong, I do love the league competition. I think it's the most competitive, it's the most set up. But if you're looking back, what would you rather win? Would you rather win a league title, maybe, or a provincial? In Ulster, anyway, I'd say most people would probably rather win a provincial.
Yeah.
So.
No, well, like it's not down to us to make that decision. They've got the whole big committees and forums that are deciding these things now. So, we'll see what they come up with. See what sort of solutions they find.
Yeah, we can only have our opinion on it, I suppose, and maybe it's a good thing that we're not making the decisions. At the same time.
Well, we'll finish with maybe the easiest question for a lot of people. Who do you think would be the top 3 teams in the game?
Top 2 are very easy. Dublin, in my opinion, the best team ever to play the game.
Pains me to agree with you, but I'd agree.
Yeah, Dublin, the best team, followed by Kerry. After that, then, it's probably there's not a whole pile of difference in it. Speaking through the eras, like I remember coming up through the years, like Tyrone definitely from the 2000s, 2010, fantastic, and then you're looking at Mayo and Donegal's maybe had their ruts, and yeah, after that though, I think any team, like definitely the top 2, Dublin number 1, Kerry 2. After that, I'd probably have a look going through the league over the last 10 years and just see what teams, because in my opinion, that'll give you a good even spread of who probably was where the ratings the team should be. Like obviously I'd be biased towards Monaghan. I'd put us up there definitely ahead of all, but I'd have the tinted glasses on at the same time. But
absolutely.
To pick a third there, I'm not too sure. You'd be looking at Kerry, Tyrone, Monaghan, Donegal, and Galway.
Yeah.
Probably they're all the teams that maybe are in Division 1 at the minute, and any one of those guys on a given day would probably feel they'll be able to beat each other consistently enough, whilst maybe Kerry and Dublin are definitely a step ahead of that again. But yeah, I'd give you a top 2 and then 3.
See, that's why I thought it was a bit easy. Maybe it'd be with the top 2 was set, and then you just pick Monaghan. That's just because it's make it easy.
I think I'll throw the tinted glasses on for that one, and I'll give Monaghan the 3rd place in the genre. But
what do you think about breaking Dublin's reign then? Do you think it's close? Not necessarily for Monaghan, just in general.
I don't know how much closer it is, to be honest. Definitely them maybe losing the manager would, or change of manager may not have helped, but you just look at their consistency of the performance and they just are so relentless in what they're doing. It will come, definitely. Whether it's coming now or not, it's pretty hard to tell. You don't really know until Championship football, but the way the structure's kind of set up at the minute, Dublin are going to be in the Super 8s, which means if they're going to have to lose 2 games in the Super 8s to probably get knocked out at that stage, so it could be tough. So you're looking at a semi-final is probably your main time to do it, and yeah, at the minute I'm going to say no, not yet. They're going to be the team to beat, but on any given day you'd hope that somebody might catch them off and give the rest of us a hope then. Chance.
You never know. They've been giving people glimpses of hope over the past couple of years. You see people getting a wee glimpse of light there, and then they just in the last 5-10 minutes they just overrun them, and this is thanks for coming for the previous 60 minutes, but now we're just going to take over.
Yeah, well, we've been victim of it as well, and I don't know. We've actually won 2 or 3 games against Dublin in the last couple of years that many people wouldn't actually probably remember in tight games, but they're just so relentlessly consistent and mentally as strong as much as physically, and they've all got such good footballers. But yeah, no, I couldn't speak highly of them now, highly enough for them. They're a team to behold now.
They're a different specimen. But well, thank you very much for that, Dermot. It's been greatly appreciated. You've given us some good insights into your thoughts on your teammates and your thoughts on yourself. And we'll certainly look forward to getting this together and and letting people have a look at our journey through this year and in future episodes as well of this.
Absolutely. If you need anything else, I'm happy to help out and weigh in. Like, as a fellow gamer myself, I'd love nothing more than to help contribute to a cause like this. So listen, if you need anything, give me a shout. And if you want to throw in a couple of 99 ratings, I'll not fall out with you.
Well, I've taken note of the ones that you think are your best there, and we'll see what we can do.
Go on, brother. Pleasure speaking to you.
Cheers. Thanks very much, Dermot. Pleasure.
Over and out.
Good luck. See ya. Bye.
Good luck. Good luck.
Well, there we have it, everyone. That's the first episode in the bag. We'll hopefully be able to get another few people in the next coming weeks to give us their opinions. What did you think about Dermot's? Would you agree with them? And Monaghan, are they all the players that you had picked for them, different attributes? Who would you sign for your team or county? We'll hopefully get a few more people in the next couple of weeks. Let us know in the comments down below who you think we should get. Let us know who you think is the best at all the attributes that we went through. Who would you sign for your team or county if you had a go at it in the game? Let's share it about in social media. Let's get the word out there. Let's get some more exposure for the game, and we'll get it done. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you later.